Hi everyone, I thought it'd be fun to make a video today helping you learn how to read using the sights and sounds of New York City. So let's get started. All right, I'm gonna push the elevator here. And what do we have? So we're gonna start with a really easy word. Two-letter words are super easy. This one has an I, which makes the I sound, and a N, which makes the and an N, which makes the N sound. So what you need to know about English, if you don't know already, is that it's all about phonics. So figuring out what sound each letter makes and then blending those together. So some people might go I, N, but what you really need to do is kind of move it all together like a river. So in. So now you can be kind of looking around for the letter in. Oh, here's another one here. In instructed. All right, our elevator's here. Here's an 8. I'm not sure if you know your numbers. Okay, so, wow, oh my gosh, there's so much good stuff in that elevator. We're gonna find floor 1. And let's see here. So what did I wanna show you? Oh, okay, here's a great one. O, F, F. O makes an ah sound. Ah, and F makes a f. It's not f. For some reason, they need 2 Fs. Otherwise, it's of. So this one is off. So you can be looking around for the word off. And next to off, what sound does this one make? Ah. It's an O, ah, and it's an N, on. All right, so we know off and on. You can be on the lookout for those. All right, moving along down the hallway, I'm looking for signs. Okay, you're probably familiar with this one. You see it every day, but you might not know how to sound it out. So one of the things is that in school, there was a big controversy because people were teaching sight words instead of phonics. So basically teaching kids to memorize words instead of how to sound them out. So when you're learning how to read, it's kind of important that you treat reading like a puzzle and you try to figure out what sound does each letter make and then blend those together. Now with simple words, it's easy, but then there's all these ridiculous exceptions. But luckily this is a pretty simple one. I mean, you already know it's exit, but we're gonna break it down. So we have an E, which makes an S sound, X, X, I guess. And you might start seeing this X a lot, EX, X, X, X. So you could even spend a whole day on the lookout just for that X sign. And then what's the next letter you see? That's an I. Good for you if you got that right. I. And then next one, T, 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 T. So we go X, it. Now, if you're just starting out learning how to read, it can also be helpful to see, like, can I sound out the first two or the last two, or then you can start doing 3 letters at a time. So we have X and we have it. Put it together, exit. So when you're looking at the signs exit, try to recognize the letters and the sounds. Okay, going out, let's send some more signs. All right, so here we have a P, it just stands for parking, nothing useful here. All right, so if you do want to park, it can be useful to know some of these words. Let's just pick an easy one here. Okay. So this is kind of probably where you're going to want to start if you're parking. And we have A. What sound does that make? A, D, D. All right, just like the word off, this has 2 D's for some random reason. I don't know, doesn't make any sense. So we have A, D, D. Do you know what word that makes? Add. And then, okay, let's do a little bit of a tricky one. This word also here. This is sometimes at the end of a word, if it has an E, we call that a silent E. You might have heard of that. Oops, my nail polish is starting to chip off. Sorry about that. Okay, so we have T, and usually if you're just reading a regular word, it would be T, I, M. T, I, M. What's T, I, M? Tim. You try. Tim. Okay, now say it faster. Tim. But we have this nasty little E on the end. Nice little E. I like the silent E. It's a friend. It's fun. E. So what this does is it makes the first letter say its name. So it's going to be an I instead of an I. So if instead of it's Tim, it becomes time. What do you think that is? Time. Add time. So the first thing you do when you're working is you add time. Okay, we could do a whole lesson on that. Look, and then you get to start adding the time. All right, we're not gonna go through this whole thing now because I'm gonna get boring. Oh, but look, here's another silent E. So if there wasn't no silent E, it would be rat, rat, rat. But since there's an E, what do you think it is? What is, if this letter here says its name, A? Great. Okay, amazing. All right, now we're gonna keep learning how to read. And yeah, why don't we go for this? Do you recognize any words you know in this sign? It's okay, you can just start with one a day. It's hard to concentrate with all these sirens in New York. So you probably, let's see, do you know this one, this first one here? We have no. Okay, English is so weird. This should be nah, but it is not nah. Do you know what it is? It's no. So for some reason, when you have an O at the end, it just says O. It doesn't say nah. So just, if you can remember, it's okay if you forget. If you ever see an O at the end of the word, it just says O. No. So this last one is kind of more complicated and long. Well, we can't even see it. It's ing at the end. Should we try to sound this one out? Let's do it. Okay, so first, what's the first letter? S, second letter T, third letter A. We're just gonna start with that. Remember, it's just helpful to break things down to the first 3 letters. And then as you practice reading a lot, you can start doing 4 letters at a time, 5 letters. Okay, so we have an S, we have a T, and we have an A. Ah, what does that make? Sta. Now say it fast, sta. Okay, so the first part is sta. And then you're gonna see this combination a lot, A-N-D. A, N, N, D, and. So we have sta, and. We have st, and we have and. What does it sound when you blend those together? Stand. Sorry if I'm going a little bit too fast for you. Stand. Stand. And then if you can learn this ing, you're gonna know a lot of words because that ing comes around all the time. Thing, pring, sting, bing, ing. And that, I guess, is another crazy exception in English. Don't get too frustrated. Is that it's not in the g. Ing always makes the ing sound. So as you can tell, if you already know and ing, you can start putting a lot of different words together. So that's no standing. And again, that word is kind of hard, so don't worry if you don't get it right away, but I just kind of want to give you a sense of how that word works. And then we have, this one is a little bit easier, and it's a shortened version. So we have an S, what sound does S make? And we have an A, what sound does A make? And T, what sound does T make? Let's see if you got it right. S, A, and T. So that's them broken apart. And how do it sound when I slowly blend them together like a river? Sat. Now say it faster. Sat. Sat. So sat is short for Saturday, and I'm just going to tell you the next one. No, we can sound it out together. Sun. Sun. Okay, so when you or your kid are learning to read, you're probably going to be tempted to go s-a-n, s-a-n. Do you hear that? Sounds kind of like a staccato, or but that's not how English works. We have to blend it all together like a river. Sun. So get used to not going S makes the S sound, makes the sound, N makes the N sound. Start going like sun, blending. Okay, great job. I hope you did a great job. I really don't know if you did a great job because I'm here on this YouTube channel and you're at home. Okay, this is a great one that you're gonna see all over the place if you live in New York City. You see that green sign? Okay, this is a fun one. If you're just starting out, you can start recognizing how this letter combination works in phonics. It's also short for avenue, but you see that A, what sound does A make? A. What sound does V make? V. So let's slowly try to sound this out. Av. Now say it faster. Av. Okay, what do you think that's short for? Avenue. All right, and then let's do this one because this is a great silent E letter. All right, since you know that E makes the letter, say its name, the letter before the consonant, what do you think? Is this going to start with an A sound or an O sound? O. Okay. O. All right, I tricked you. It's not own. All right, this is just a really horrible, annoying word. I don't even know why. Someone here who's brilliant probably knows the rule for this, but this is the number 1. Okay, I don't know how to teach you 1 except to memorize it. But try to start remembering when you see 1 and just laugh at what an annoying, stupid, bizarrely pronounced word that is. 1. Here's another one. Do you see the other 1? 1. Okay. And then this is kind of hidden, but it starts with a W. Let's try to sound it out. This is another weird word. Why do English words have to be so bizarre? Okay, so when you're sounding this out like you're supposed to, it should be w-a-y. Y. That is not a word. Okay, here's your shocker. This is way. So when you put an A and a Y together, that's an A. Way. So much information. I hope I'm not overwhelming you. And this video is designed to be watched many, many times. So don't worry about not being able to sound stuff out. This is a nice word at the top here. It's actually 2 words. NYC is just here. But we're gonna sound this one out. Do you know what sound L makes? L. And then I, N, N. And then what's that last letter? K. So let's sound it out. Not broken apart, but sounding it out together. Now you try sounding it out. Now try doing it faster. Link. Did you get it? Link. So I guess this is something that's supposed to kind of link NYC together. Ooh, this is Pantene Proby. Maybe they'll sponsor this video. Okay. Ooh, let's see. Oh, here's a tall one. Do you want to try this word? It's a good one. Okay, so sometimes C makes the sound K. Sometimes it makes the sound S. And this word it makes the sound S. So I'm just going to give you a hint there. So we have an I. What sound does I make? I. And then what sound does T make? T. And then what sound does I make? Y. City. Now you try. City. Do you know what that word is? Can you do it faster? City. City of New York. Yay. All right. Okay, so we're walking down the street and looking for more signs. More signs. Ooh, do you remember this parking one? Remember we did this one of the first ones today. Do you remember what this word is? Can you sound it out? Add. Okay, good for you if you remembered. All right, let's try to find an, ooh, I have a really good word here. Lots of no's in New York City. Okay, so we learned no, and that's a weird word because the O's at the end, remember, makes the O sound. This one is just a normal one. So what sound does N make? N. What sound does O make? Ah. It's not supposed to. And then what sound does T make? Ch. Let's sound it out. Not. Now you try. Okay, now let's do it faster. Not. Not. Okay, so just spoiler alert, this says not responsible for vehicles left after midnight. Ooh, okay. All right, so let's see. This is a parking garage, early bird special. We're not gonna bother with that right now. Lots of amazing street signs here in New York City. Trying not to get people in my video under their will. Cool graffiti. All right, now I don't want you all to feel overwhelmed. I know that this is a lot to take in, but my hope is that you're just gonna get used to it. Oh, this is a longer word, but I bet we can get the first part. Remember that trick I taught you? Oops, where did the sign go? Okay, remember the trick of just trying the first 2 letters? Because if you can just do 2 letters at a time, it's a lot better. So U-P. What sound does U make? What sound does P make? P. So what is that together? Please sound it out. Up. Up. All right, I'm just gonna tell you, because you've been so great. Uptown. Uptown, that's the sign for uptown. Uptown. The second part of the word is a little bit weird, because O-W always makes the ow sound. All right. So, what do we have next? All right, here's another one. Do you remember this one? The A-V. So we have 8. Where do you think we are? AV, what does that make? Did you say Ave? If so, good job. Ave, 8th Avenue. We're on 8th Avenue. All right, let's see if we can find some more cool signs in New York. Do you see pizza? Why is that pizza and not pizza? It's because it's an Italian word, and Italian words are weird. Okay, we are walking. That's a walk sign. Great. Nobody needs to know how to read to do that one. And okay, here's another. Let's do an easy word and a hard word. Okay, so if you look at this is a sign for a building, and it starts with what letter? Wait, actually, we need to kind of tilt our head to read it. So the first letter is what? P. Second letter, E. Third letter, N, and then another N. Unnecessary double N. Okay, but we're gonna sound it out. So we're gonna try to blend it together. So I want you to make all the sounds, but don't take a break between them. So pen. Now you try. Pen. Now faster. Did you say pen? Good job. Okay, so here we have another no. Just, you know what? Why don't you just start looking around for the word no? You're gonna be so proud of yourself. I'm trying to find a stop sign because I thought that would be a nice one for you to learn how to do a stop sign, but I can't seem to find a stop sign right now. I'm trying not to get people in my video who don't want to be in my video. Okay, now here's a letter combination you're gonna see a lot. TH. Do any of you already know what TH makes? It's the. That's another just like weird combo. I feel bad, like there's so many different rules in English, but if you just practice every day, you're just gonna get used to it. So whenever you see a the today, remember it's a TH, remember it's just a the. 28th Street. Okay, so it's really, the thing I want you to know about reading is that reading is really hard. And if you didn't learn how to read in school, it's not your fault. It's just your teachers didn't teach you reading really well. Like maybe they taught you how to do sight words and memorize words instead of how to sound out words. And in the beginning, sounding out words is quite complicated. I mean, there's been a lot of studies that show that people learn how to speak naturally, like just by imitating their parents, but people only learn how to read by being taught how to read, because it was a tool that civilizations developed in order to communicate with each other, but then not everybody learned how to do it. So now it's used. So basically what I wanted to convey to you is that reading is a tool of power, is also a tool of oppression. It's a tool of oppression because people who don't know how to read can't navigate the world in the same way that people who can read can navigate the world. It's more difficult to go to the doctor, to find information, to apply for a job, to learn any new skill, because so many things for learning new skills are written. Like, that's why we're making this video, because I think it's really important that we have a video about reading that is not written, because how are you supposed to teach your kid how to read if you can't read yourself? And that is 130 million Americans who don't know how to read. Okay, so tool of oppression, it's hard. I remember reading being like really difficult when I was little, but someone was patient with me and taught me, and now I'm really happy I know how to read, and you are going to be too. So can you read this word? What's the first letter? What sound does it make? What? What's the second letter? What sound does that make? Ah. And what's the third letter? What sound does that make? And then what's the last one? T. So let's sound this out very slowly. You go first. West. Now faster. West. This is west. And it's a pretty straightforward one to sound out. No bizarre words. Okay, so let's see. I think that you've probably had enough reading lessons today. What I want you to do is start, maybe you don't know what sound every letter makes, so that's probably a good place to start, but maybe you can even already start recognizing some of the things we talked about in this video, like sounding out the word and, or av, or anything like that. And so, oh my gosh, isn't New York an amazing place? I just love it so, so much. Here's an alligator. Do you know what letter alligator starts with? Alligator. Yeah. Okay, so just back to my original point. Reading is a tool of oppression because some people know how to read, and even if those people aren't smarter, if they aren't kinder, if they don't have better ideas on how to make the world a good place, they have this huge advantage because somebody taught them how to read. But the same reason that reading is a tool of oppression, it's also a tool of power, because if you learn how to read, then you can navigate the world so much more easily and you can make an impact in the world. And it's really, really frustrating in the beginning. It can be really frustrating unless you're a natural reader to learn how to read. Oops. Do you remember this word? Remember, it says O if it's the end of the word. No smoking. Don't smoke around here. So I hope that you're going to learn how to read. And if you want, if this video is fun and interesting for you, what I would suggest is just watch it over and over and over. And if you're learning with your child, you can watch it over and over and over. And pretty soon you are going to start recognizing the letters and the sounds. Okay, I just had a great idea. We're going to try to find every word, every letter of the alphabet together in New York City. Okay. And we're going to try to learn every sound of every alphabet together. Okay, so I think that's going to be the next video. Hey, I hope that you all have a really great day. And I'm super proud of you for watching this entire thing. I hope it was fun, and I'm excited to join you for more reading videos. And I think you're cool and you're smart and you're capable, and the thing that differentiates you from other people is that your willingness to do this hard thing. And in a couple months from now, you're gonna look back and you can't believe there was a time that you didn't know how to read, and you're gonna be so happy you learned. And I'm excited to do this with you. Some people are gonna learn really fast, some people are gonna learn slow, but what matters is that you're moving forward every single day. I love you, I believe in you, and I hope you have a great day.